Good morning, my name is Darryl Kwao. Time to do some business. We begin from the cocoa sector. A stabilization fund for cocoa farmers is to be established by the world's two leading cocoa producers, Ivory Coast and Ghana. CEO of Cocoa Board Joseph Boahen Edu at media engagement noted the special fund will be used to cushion farmers against volatile cocoa prices on the world market. There's more in this report.
Ghana and Ivory Coast have agreed to establish a stabilization fund to insulate cocoa farmers against cocoa price volatility on the global market that could affect recently agreed floor price of $2,600 per ton. This agreement comes at a time when some international buyers have complained that recent floor price could push companies to buy their beans elsewhere. Joseph Boahen Edu is Chief Executive of Cocoa Board.
The stabilization fund will have to be established for the two countries, and any extra value above $3,000 CIF or $2,900 gross FOB of the achieved weighted average prices.
Meanwhile, the chief executive has also been responding to concerns over the possibility of global buyers of cocoa sourcing for beans elsewhere in protest against the new floor price.
At the terminal market, you know, when cocoa is being traded, you know, it's a private contract. Cocoa at the terminal market is traded as a private. So when you have a international cocoa, whatever, trying to buy cocoa from CMC, is a private contract.
The mechanism requires that Cocoa Board and its Ivorian counterparts, Le Conseil du Café Cacao, invest the excess amount in the stabilization fund to be used to cushion farmers whenever prices fall below $2,600 per ton.
Now, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta says a rising debt stock can be attributed to management of legacy commitments rather than questionable expenditure by government. There's been a significant increase in the debt stock over the past 2 years, reaching 198 billion cedis as of March this year, and has resulted in the country being classified as high risk of debt distress. But the Finance Minister maintains that some of these fresh borrowings were rather meant to manage old debts.
The Finance Minister's explanation is coming at a time that there have been growing concerns about the country's rising debt stock. Since this new administration took office about some 2.5 years ago, the total debt stock has gone up by about 115 billion Ghana cedis to 189 billion Ghana cedis, ending March this year. Some have questioned government continuous borrowing because some were expecting some freeze on these fresh borrowings to help contain the situation. But speaking in an interview with Joy Business, the Finance Minister maintained that some of these fresh borrowings were meant to contain the old debts, to prevent it from getting to levels that will threaten the country's ability to pay back on time.
This debt stock has emerged from with regards to legacy issues, really, of energy, of the financial services, of changes in the foreign exchange, which then impacts, how much you have to pay, So all of those things come. And then this year, as you know, we went to the Eurobond market very early on. So we front loaded, the debt as you see it. And now we are going to have the MFIs, etc. But when things have to be done, they have to be done. And I think it's up to the journalists themselves also to be able to desegregate, so that if somebody tells you, well, the debt has increased, you can say, oh yeah, but X percentage of it was financial services, X percentage was the take or pay PPA contracts you signed with energy, and X percentage is due to the changes in foreign exchange. Once that is disaggregated and it's put out there, I think people begin to understand. But I think it is a responsibility of journalists to also be able to explain those things, not because you are supporting the government, but you are laying bare where Ghana is.
Despite these assurances from the finance minister, the IMF has classified the country as risk of high debt distress. This is based on the fact that Ghana's debts are rising to levels that could make it difficult for it to pay back on time. However, the finance minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, believes that based on some of these fresh measures that they are implementing, the debt levels could go down to some appreciable levels very soon.
And that's it for business. Handing it over to you, Bernice.
Thank you very much, Daryl. But that's how we wrap up this edition of News Desk. Really appreciate your company. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. Please don't go away yet. Up next is Joy News Interactive with Selina Ampo, and she's bringing you all the trends with regards to the Black Stars. Do stay.